Good morning, everybody. Welcome to IBC 2022. My name is Wes Simpson. I'll be your host for today. This presentation is from Steve Reynolds, President of Imagine Communications, and he's also Chairman of the AIMS Board of Governors. He's going to be giving us a AIMS update today, so thank you very much. Take it away, Steve.
Thanks, Wes, and thanks for inviting AIMS to present today at the IP Showcase. Great to be back in Amsterdam. Glad to see so many people that we haven't been able to talk to in the last couple of years, and also glad to have an opportunity to provide an update on the status of the AIMS Alliance. AIMS is an alliance of companies that came together about 7 years ago to advance the SMPTE 2110 standards. And the mission statement that we set out when we started the AIMS Alliance continues to be what really drives the activities of this organization. We're here to foster the adoption of one set of common and ubiquitous standard-based protocols for interoperability over IP in the media and entertainment industry. Despite the fact that we haven't all been together for the last couple of years for IBC or for NAB, a lot of progress has been made towards that set of common goals. The AIMS membership continues to increase. You can see here the logos of all of the companies that are represented within AIMS. It's a great cross-section of companies that are in the manufacturing and software development area, companies that are end users of the IP, the media over IP products, and also companies that work in systems integration and systems design. And in fact, that's the area where we've seen quite a bit of advancement for AIMS over the course of the last couple of years. For those of you who have an opportunity to come to the IP Showcase during IBC 2022, you'll actually see a number of installations highlighted in the IP Showcase of projects that have been done over the course of the last couple of years. And we see projects all around the world at this point in time. Significant facility projects in Europe, in North America, in Asia. So we really see broad adoption of the ST 2110 standards and all of the other protocols that are associated with that. From the AIMS point of view, that seems to be really good progress in terms of what we set out to do to foster adoption of that set of standards. We're also starting to see that set of standards move into other areas, including the Pro AV area, and I want to talk about that as I give you this update. The AIMS organization is made up of members that have joined the Alliance, both full members and associate members, and we also have a lot of work that we do with our partners. Those organizations help support the development of technical standards and also help support the standards development organization, standards development process, I should say, as we move all of these technologies towards global adoption. The actual work activities of the AIMS Alliance are carried out by three primary working groups. We have a technical working group that focuses primarily on implementation and standardization issues. We have an education working group that was started early in 2022. And the mission of that group is really to bring together training materials, educational materials, and ensure that everything that's being done across the industry, whether it's being done from an SDO point of view or being done by the individual member companies, is highlighted and made available to the entire community so that they can learn about the standards development, but also learn about the real world activities that are going on and take a look at those case studies, take a look at those reference designs, understand what's going on with the testing activities, and make that all very easy to find for the entire industry. And then, of course, we have our marketing working group. And the marketing of this set of standards and the marketing of the AIMS activities has really become a focus for us, making sure that people are aware of what's going on, working with trade press and other organizations to get documentation and case studies out so that we can help drive that adoption and foster broader use of the media over IP standards. When we formed the AIMS organization, we created what we call the roadmap for standards adoption. That really started off at the very beginning around what at the time was the TR04 and TR03 specifications. Those were eventually adopted as the set of SMPTE standards that the AIMS activities have been built on top of. At this point in time, we see that all of the standards, or nearly all of the standards that form the core of the AIMS roadmap, are stable, published standards well into their development process, primarily at this point being updated. You can see on this activity chart that some minor updates have been done over the course of the last couple of years, and there are some minor updates that are still in the works. There are a couple of new specifications that you'll see at the bottom of this list that the team continues to work on. These are activities that are primarily being driven by the VSF at this point in time with input from AIMS and other organizations. TR07 and TR08 both pertain to the emerging JPEG XS specification for compressed transport. And then a new set of specifications that falls under the TR10 heading that pertain to an initiative that we launched about 2 years ago called IPMX. IPMX is the adoption of this set of SMPTE ST2110 standards being adapted to the Pro AV industry. It's been a very interesting project because we're starting to see some uptick on that, and I'll give you a look at some of the activities from Infocom earlier this year that lead to momentum. One part of the AIMS activities that we don't always highlight, but I do want to call out here, is the work that's being done by the audio subgroup. This subgroup was formed when the MNA merged with AIMS a couple of years ago to really give our members a higher focus on what's going on in the audio part of the standards development and deployment. We have a number of companies that joined AIMS that are really focused primarily around audio, handling audio processing. And so we did form an audio subgroup to make sure that all the activities of that group are getting the attention that they deserve underneath the broader set of specifications. I wanted to highlight the work that the audio subgroup has been doing because there is an opportunity for folks to take a look at a lot of this development at the upcoming AES New York convention. So if you're going to be in New York in October, please stop by the Media over IP Pavilion that is being co-sponsored by AIMS, and you'll get a look at a number of presentations and just the general evolution of what's been going on with the audio aspects of SMPTE 2110 and AES 67, which form the basis of audio handling in this Media over IP environment. The other key initiative that AIMS has been working on over the course of the last couple of years is really trying to foster adoption through better communications with the industry. Our marketing working group has an outreach program where they work with a lot of the key publications that talk about both technology and business case advances that are going on within the industry. So you'll see articles being published both by AIMS and by the AIMS members showing up in a variety of publications. Again, the focus here is really to make sure that the broader industry is aware of just how broadly adopted that set of standards from the AIMS roadmap has become, and to make sure that we're working with end users to document case studies and reference designs so that we can propagate that across other installations, work on the adoption of best practices, and also continue to train both designers and implementers in how to best use the suite of SMPTE 2110 standards. A couple of specific things that I'd like to call out that the marketing group has worked on over the course of the last year are a number of white papers and case studies that they've published. The best way to find these is actually to go to the AIMS page on LinkedIn. You can find the direct links there if you want to read about live video production in the cloud, some of the work that's been done around modeling real-time behavior of switches, and also just some of the background information on how IP systems are being designed here in 2022. So I'd encourage you to take a look at LinkedIn, get the links to these papers, and engage in that education. Speaking of education, I wanted to highlight some of the work that's been done by our EWG this year. As I mentioned, the EWG was formed early in 2022. And the first focus for that group was really to take a look at everything that was available in terms of the library of assets that had been developed since AIMS was formed several years ago. What this team did was take a look at materials that had been created for previous IP showcases at both NAB and IBC, materials that had been developed for the AES conferences, things that the AIMS team had put together for the IP Oktoberfest and Tech Fest, as well as the summer sessions that we did a couple of years ago. Alan Fryer from Ross has been the person that's been leading the EWG, and he did a fantastic job of organizing this team to actually go and look through all of those assets. What they've been trying to do is highlight the topics and the presenters that are covered in each one of those so that they can create a metadata catalog that will then be used to create a searchable index, a searchable library of all the materials that have been created. The idea there is to make it easier for people to find both overview materials by doing keyword searching, and also be able to find some of the detailed technical presentations that have been put together by going in and searching for specific tags within the presentations. That's all being collected on the AIMS website. So if you go to our website at aimsalliance.org, you'll find a new tab, which is the education library. And you can see on this slide the subsections of that library that have been created by Alan and team as they go through this indexing process. They're organizing all of those materials, whether they're white papers, case studies, or even video presentations. They're indexing that all underneath these categories to make it easy for people to find materials and engage in education around both the activities of AIMS and also the member companies. Third initiative that I wanted to talk about is the IPMX Initiative. As I said, this was started a couple of years ago by some of the member companies to create a set of implementations that are really focused on AV over IP. So this is taking the set of fundamental standards that were built in the 2110 suite and adapting them to a new set of use cases. So this is, really for more of the pro AV segment to try to take the 21 technologies and make them work in another set of use cases. A lot of momentum has been built since this was originally conceptualized back in 2020. And you can see the progression here of announcements that have been made, demos that have been provided, and the trade shows that we've participated in as part of this IPMX initiative. And that really culminated in what I think was a pretty significant event at InfoComm in 2022. We brought 12 different companies together to show an interop of 2110 and the set of IPMX specs that have been built in alignment with 2110 to create a set of end-to-end demos. And these were actual functioning demos that showed the ability to do contribution using the IPMX standards into 2110, and then back again from 2110 into IPMX. So a true demonstration of interoperability that showed end-to-end workflows and end-to-end signal flows with alignment between what we consider to be the broadcast industry set of specs, ST2110, and now the Pro AV industry set of specs as embodied by IPMX. There were a number of significant proof points that we felt we achieved in this demo. I won't read the list to you, but you can see some of the significant technical things that were demonstrated during that InfoComm demo. And we certainly intend to continue moving forward in that direction. One of the things that AIMS has always been focused on is providing opportunities for interop demos. We believe that that is the best demonstration that we can do for the industry that these things are actually mature and these things actually work, is to create those interops and also to continue to participate in interoperability testing through the JTNM. So some really interesting developments there, and as I said, a pretty good indication of what we've been able to achieve. So what's next for the AIMS Alliance? Well, all three of our working groups are going to continue on the tracks that they've been going down. You will see continued effort around IPMX. As I mentioned, the VSF is now working on that set of TR-10.x specifications. AIMS will continue to contribute to that, primarily from the point of view of representing use cases and helping to identify gaps and white space in that set of specifications. As I mentioned, we have a significant event coming up at NAB New York or AES New York. They're actually the same event this year, and the Media over IP Pavilion that's going to be set up in New York. And then, of course, the other thing I just want to make sure people keep an eye on is the work that's being done by the Education Working Group. So continue to check at aimsalliance.org for updates in that educational library as that project advances. All in all, a couple of really good years for the AIMS team. As I said, adoption continues to grow. The specifications and standards continue to mature. We continue to add new members, and we invite anyone else who's interested in joining the AIMS Alliance to please contact us or check us out at aimsalliance.org. So Wes, thanks for the opportunity to present this morning, and I hope everyone has a great IBC 2022. Thank you.